Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihar Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Janavalava Girivardha Vishuddhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonon, Chapter 11, the Childhood Pastimes of Krishna, Text 41 and 42. I'm bringing 41 first and translation, no purport. Kadachid Jamunatire Vatsamschara Jatoshwakai Bhajasai Krishna Balajor Jigamsur Daita Agamat. Translation. One day, while Rama and Krishna, along with their playmates, were tending the calf on the bank of the river Jamuna, another demon arrived there desiring to kill them. Text 42. Tan Vatsarupina Bhiksha Vatsajutta Gatam Hari Darshayam Baladevaya Sanairmukta Iva Shadat. Tan Vatsarupinam Diksha Vatsayuddhagatam Hari Darsayan Baladevaya Sanair Mugdha Iva Shadat Tan Vatsarupina Bhiksha Vatsayuddhagatam Hari Darsayam Baladevaya Sanair Mugdha Iva Shadat. Please read. Tam, unto the demon, Vatsarupinam, assuming the form of a calf, Bhiksha, seeing, Vatsayuddhagatam. When the demon entered the group of all the other calves, Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Darshayam, indicating Baladevaya, unto Baladeva, Sanai, very slowly, Mugdha Iva, as if he did not understand anything. Shadat, came near the demon. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead saw that the demon had assumed the form of a calf and entered among the group of other calves, he pointed out to Baladev, quote, "Here's another demon," end of quote. Then he very slowly approached the demon as he did not understand the demon's intentions. Purport. The importance of the words Mugdha Iva is that although Krishna knows everything, here he pretended that he did not understand why the demon had entered among the calf, and he informed Baladev by a sign. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, there is, when we do the Brajamandala Parikram, you visit one of the forest, celebrated forest that one visits is this forest of Bandirvan. It's on the side, on the eastern side of the Yamuna, or the forest, on the side of where Gokula, Mathura, or the Mahavan is there. So Bandirvan is one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan, and is one of the most celebrated ones because Krishna performed so many sweet pastimes there. And the pictures when you see Krishna with the cowherd boys playing, the places where he plays, at the places where he takes lunch, there is this place there that is a place where Krishna always takes lunch with his cowherd boys, friends. And he takes lunch on this famous tree. What is it called, these big trees? The banyan tree. This huge banyan tree that is called the Bandirbata banyan tree. Bandirbata banyan tree. It is explained that this banyan tree is it was so huge during the time of Krishna that it was 10 miles, and the branches were actually they were able to cross the Yamuna just walking on the branches, from one side to the other. The branches will extend all over to the other side of the Yamuna, and it was magnificent, full of green leaves and flowers, and very, very gigantic, and it will create this very nice shade in which Krishna will sit down under the banyan tree, the Bandirbata banyan tree, and then he will take lunch with the cowherd boys. And so they will come there, they will play all the time. They will leave the cows to roam in the very luscious grasses of Bandirban and the calf, and then they will actually play the whole day. So the description of them playing, imitating the animals and all these type of things, and doing wrestling and all kinds of playing football. So football is bona fide sport. Not American football, that one. Although they did play something of throwing the launches and balls and things like that. So there's certain sports that were there. Anyway, so it's described that we'll play with balls and hit it with the feet, like football. So they will play during the day, and then they will sit on this tree to take lunch. And so in one of these occasions, then this demon comes, and he assumes the form of a calf, which is, quite wicked in one sense, because the calf, of course, is such a great disguise, because the calf, they're so innocent and unassuming, that it was perfect disguise. Sometimes people said, that be aware of a wolf hidden as a sheep. So trying to capture all the sheep. So, you have these stories children's stories that we hear, you know, of the wolf putting a disguise as a sheep and getting into the herd to actually kill the sheep. So, so this demon have this sort of way of trying to harm Krishna and Balaram by disguising as a calf. But he couldn't fool Krishna. You know, and this is, you know, these demons, they have the capacity, they have this power, these mystic powers, that they can actually transform themselves into, you know, they can assume different forms, that they actually assume the form of a calf. But Krishna immediately understood. Here's a demon. And then he just, you know, it is said, Prabhupada explained that he just gave a sign to Baladev, to Lord Balaram. You know, something like that. He said. So Baladev can understand, oh, yeah, that's a demon. So they got it. So Krishna very slowly approached the demon like he didn't know anything. And we're going to hear how he kills the demon. So maybe I should not reveal that. How you say, spoilers. So we don't, or be aware of spoilers. But one thing is that he killed the demon. He will kill it in some, you know, nice way. Very wonderful way. And after he kills the demons, well, here's, you know, be aware of spoilers. The cowherd boys will always celebrate. Yeah, Krishna, you killed this demon, you know, well done, well done. And they will be all happy and excited about Krishna's different, powerful, wonderful feats. But the cowherd girls, they actually were not very happy with this action of Krishna. They criticize him, and they say, particularly, they won't want to have anything to do with Krishna because he did this most heinous act of killing a cow, a calf, a baby cow, or a baby bull, whatever it was. So this was a terrible sin, and unless he atoned himself, they won't have nothing to do with him. So he will have to go and bathe in all the different sacred rivers to be able to atone himself. And then the gopis can again associate with him, otherwise they cannot. So Krishna said, very well. So he took his flute, and you still can visit this place in Bandirvan. It's called the Venu Kupa. Venu Kupa. Venu, the flute. So he actually, with his flute, he dig this pond, and then call all the sacred rivers that they filled up this pond, and he took bath there and did at least what appears to be atonement or purifying himself. Of course, Krishna is Pavitrang Idan Uttaman, or no, what is it? Parandama, Param Brahma Parandama Pavitrang Idan Uttaman. He is the purest. So he doesn't need to purify himself, but his pastimes is like that. There is another place. There's many things that happen in this forest. He also killed in this forest Pralambasura. Actually, Baladev killed Pralambasura. The forest fire happens in this forest. There is also there is a temple of, that is a very beautiful story of Sridham, Krishna's friend, Srimati Radharani's brother. Sridham, there's this little temple there, in which is a deity of Sridham, and when Krishna left from Mathura, Sridham was broken heart, and he told Krishna, I'm going to wait for you here by this favorite spot, Bandirvan, until you come back. So Krishna said, yes, wait for me there, I will come back. And he waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And Krishna didn't come back. And it is explained that thousands of years later, when Lord Chaitanya visited Vrindavan, he went to this forest and ran towards Sridham and embracing and started to, crying and saying, I came back for you. So it's a very beautiful, touching, So Sridham, when you hear the pastimes from the devotees explain the mood that we learn in this place, and we pray through Sridham to have that mood of we can wait for the devotee will wait for thousands, even if you have to wait for thousands of years just to have the darshan of Krishna, or Krishna coming personally to you. We can wait patiently, just like Sridham. So this I think Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this Vatsa Asura represents the childish mentality of devotees who become victims of bad association. Having a childish mentality by which you can become victimized by bad association. And they make a difference that the devotee should be childlike, but not childish. So there's a difference between being childlike and being childish. Being childlike, it is explained that the devotee should be innocent, like a child, simple, have a simple heart, and have this sort of innocence in one sense, just like a child. Simplicity, simple heart, not complicated. But one should not be childish. Childish means foolish, having a foolish mentality. One should have discrimination. One should act wisely. One should have proper discrimination. And proper discrimination means that you understand what is right and what is wrong, according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So you act according to those things. Proper discrimination. Childish mentalities mean foolishness, so you don't have discrimination. A child have no discrimination. So it is explained that a child very easily can be victimized by a crooked individual by enticing the child with, a little candy or something. Here's a candy, and then, they can take advantage of the child. So, Vatsasura represent this. So, become victimized by bad association. And as devotees, we have to watch that. We have to discriminate to avoid becoming influenced. And we should not take for granted. Sometimes we say, oh, well, I can take it. Having this false confidence. Yeah, I can sort of go and associate, and I can go to do all these things, and I'm fine. I will still chant. I remember when I joined the temple, I was young, but then I had already a plan that I will stay for 9 months, and I have a ticket, an airplane ticket, to go back to my country, to Venezuela. When my Guru Maharaj found out that I was leaving, that I was going back to Venezuela, the plan was to go back for 2 months, and it landed being 2 years. But when my Guru Maharaj, at that time he was not my Guru Maharaj, he was, one of the resident sannyasis, and he was very kind, always looking after the devotees. So he extended, his kindness to me a lot during that time. So when he found out, he said, no, don't go before getting initiated. I was due to be initiated during that time. I did, So, don't go before going initiated and then say, no, Maharaj, I'll be fine. I'm actually feeling okay. I'm very happy following Krishna consciousness. I follow the 4 regulated principles. I'll be fine. And I'll be there just for 2 months. I come back. No, but, get initiated first. Just postpone it. It was, I was leaving somewhere at the end of January, and the initiations were due during Gaur Purnima somewhere in March. I was supposed to be initiated by Rameshwar Swami at that time. Rameshwar Swami, when he was one of the Sona Acharyas of New York. So my Guru Maharaj just, no. Well, okay, if you have to go, you have to talk to Rameshwar Swami, to your spiritual master. And then, okay, Maharaj, and he just started to find where Rameshwar Swami was. So he located Rameshwar Swami, wherever he was, by telephone, and put me in the telephone with Rameshwar Swami to get instruction to be able to follow when I'm away for those 2 months. So he could understand, this kid, you have this confidence. Yeah, no problem, I follow. No problem. It took, once I left, it took about 2 weeks before I fell down. My Sika was cut, and the rest was history. 2 weeks. So we take it for granted. Of course, I was very new. Now we're more experienced. We can take it. We can take it. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. So that is, again, this childish, foolish mentality. We can take it. We have to be, Prabhupada says, the only criticism I have of my disciples is that they're not, they're too confident about Maya. They're not sufficiently afraid of Maya. So, we're not sufficiently afraid of Maya in general, most of us. So we have to have the proper discrimination. So, like when you educate your children, do not talk to strangers. If some stranger comes and offers you a candy, run the other way. Don't talk to strangers. Don't accept anything from strangers. You tell your children. Our parents tell us, you know. And so similarly, we have to be very much discriminating. We have to follow the instructions. Srila Rupa Goswami says, both in the do's and the don'ts, basically, that a sign of a proper Vaishnava is you avoid the association, bad association, and you take good association, the association of devotees. So, in that way, as Krishna comes, he actually takes care of Vatsasura in ourselves, that foolishness, and we become discriminating. Any comments or questions? Dr. Daniel Prabhu.
I just really appreciated the point that you were driving home about that how we can get a little too comfortable or like a little over cocky sometimes, and we'll think like, oh, I'm advanced enough that I'm strong enough in my devotional service that like it won't hurt me to have some association here. That's not the greatest for us, and it's not going to affect me in any sort of way. But then it ends up doing the exact thing that you think it wouldn't happen. Or it reminds me of I hear this example often about how you, like, if you're like on Google and you're typing in something and you're like, okay, let me just type in like looking for umbrellas or whatever, you're looking for a new umbrella, and then that same ad for that umbrella keeps following you everywhere you go. Like on Facebook, you'll see the ad for the umbrella, and on Twitter, you'll see the ad for the umbrella. And so it's just like a little touch of mine, it'll just follow you everywhere. So I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to, we have to be careful. We have to be careful, especially with things that we are attached. You know, happens when we have to visit family, or we have to, and then we see friends, and then you get, you know, into the previous things and the talks and that and this and that and blah, 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 and then you get distracted, you get, you know, deviated, you know, and it could be very easy that you can like victimize.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. I always think that, or I always thought that spiritual life is something that is not that I advanced. I already got my graduation and that was it. We have to work every day. It's like a plant. We have to water it every day, otherwise it's going to die. It's an everyday practice. It's an everyday attitude and mood and way of life. It's not that I advanced to this point and I got it all. No. I equal the childish term that Prabhupada used in his purport is immaturity. I don't know if I'm wrong, but when we assume that I got it all, that means I don't have anything. I'm not ready yet. Because it's like the plants, as I said, as an analogy. No, If we don't water the plant, every now and then the plant is going to die.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prakta, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, from my experience, I think we have to be very vigilant, grateful that we're here in this association, and we have to be very vigilant and not take it for granted. You know, and I have exercised taking it for granted, and like I was at a stage, and sometimes I slip into, I think that I know it all, and that's when it's really, really dangerous when you get to that kind of mentality.
Yeah. Jai Baladev, Prabhu.
I have something to say, but you can go ahead first.
Baladev needs his time. You have to, he's a closer.
Yeah, I like how you're talking about how it's just like a plant. How like every day it's so important to water it, and it's not like a tree. Like once it's a tree, it doesn't need any sunlight and water. It needs more water and sunlight. And so I was thinking about, there's this, I hear some devotees will say sometimes like find your ecstasy, where it's like every day, if you're in your devotional life, if you find that you aren't getting satisfaction and an adequate amount of happiness and ecstasy, you'll be prone to go elsewhere outside the material world to find it. So you have to frame or organize your life in such a way that you're responsible for your own ecstasy in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Before I share my comments regarding Subala's class in question, that also reminds me of Keshava Kishore's question. I'll just give you a reference, since you made a very good analogy that's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, chapter 19, starting at verse 151, Lord Chaitanya tells Rupa Goswami the same thing you just said, actually. And he elaborates on that our seed is like our devotion is like a seed, and we need to constantly water it and pull out the weeds also, which are our bad characters. So anyways. Thank you, Subala, for your class. I kind of like to relate it to your statement, this verse, to your statement where you said we're not sufficiently afraid of Maya. And I remember years ago when I was only coming, I don't know, maybe a couple years or so, but something I never forgot. And it was at a Jamashtami with His Holiness Radhanath Swami. And I don't know why, because I didn't know too much about anything at the time. This had to be probably in 06, 05, I don't know, something like that, when he was here for Jamashtami. And he said two things that I never forgot. And I don't know why, but he says what you said. We're not sufficiently afraid of Maya, and we're not sufficiently afraid of Vaishnava Aparad. He also said that, that's the two things. And I probably figure out what that meant, you know, being disrespectful, but I kind of like to relate this to this verse, because the one thing I really appreciate about this verse in this pastime is that in this pastime it describes that the Brajavasis wanted to leave Gokul to escape the demons. We'll be happy if we leave Gokul because there's demons in Gokul only. Let me go to Vrindavan. There's more demons in Vrindavan. And so we see that that's our kind of situation. We try to change our circumstances, you know, try to change people. And then we get the same result, that the problem maybe is not with the circumstances, it's with me. And one analogy I really appreciate is, like, for example, we say, okay, I don't like the cold weather of Chicago, let me go to Florida. Then you find in Florida there's hurricanes. Okay, I don't like hurricanes, let me go to Oklahoma. Then in Oklahoma you find there's tornadoes. And so the problem is not with the weather on the outside, because that's beyond our control. The problem is that we're not building character on the inside. Just like Krishna says, Mahatmanas tumam partha daivam prakritsam ashritaha. In chapter 9, he says the great souls, they're not worried about their circumstances, because the circumstances are beyond their control, like the weather. But the great souls build character by yasyasti bhatir bhagavati akinchana sarva gunais tatra samaste suraha, building these good qualities, the building blocks, mercy, tolerance, forgiveness. And we see that if you go wherever you go and you don't build a shelter, you always find problems. See, similarly, wherever we go, if we don't build character by hearing Bhagavatam and chanting the holy name free from offenses, then we'll always find problems. And that reminds me of one very beautiful quote. It's a very powerful one. I actually wrote it down. It says, "There is nothing as powerful as a changed mind. You can change your hair, your clothing, your address, your spouse, your residence. But if you don't change your mind, the same experience will perpetuate itself over and over again, because everything outwardly changed, but nothing inwardly changed." So my question is, we see that the one thing that generally doesn't change about our circumstances is Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu prayed to Lord Brahma, "Let everything go my way." And so when things don't go our way, because our happiness is not coming from the inside, it's coming from our circumstance on the outside, we criticize others. We're very intolerant. We're very impatient. We complain about others. Why? Because our happiness, we want to be God. I want to control the weather. Let me control people's circumstances. They're just getting on my nerve. And then we see people who have that mentality, they're not happy at all. So my question is that generally speaking, when we have these opulences, Jama Aishra Shuta Shribira, Edamana Mada Puman, Naivarhati Abidatumbai, Swama Kinshana Goshana, when we're intoxicated by these opulences, we're accustomed to things going our way. So therefore, we're not inclined to build character. So what are some steps we can move forward? Because I think everyone has some type of opulence or whatever, but what are some steps we can move forward to go beyond these circumstances before Krishna embarrass us by taking these opulences away and just going through a very embarrassing situation. What are some steps we can move forward to voluntarily build character when we're especially given opulences, which is the most hardest thing to do because we're accustomed to think, I have money, people are going to listen to me naturally. Beauty, people fall at my feet. But that's not always the case, but still, we have that mentality. What need is to build character, I always get my way. You see how cute I am? You see how much money I have? You see my education? People fall at my feet. So what are some steps? Maybe you could elaborate on those points.
Well, to bring it back to the discussion of today's verse, one thing that the recommendation is there, just like I mentioned, Srila Rupa Goswami puts emphasis on association. So, association. We carefully, conscientiously take the association of devotees and be part of the association of devotees. So, and when we talk about conscientiously, means that you actually learn the culture of associating. So that's basically, we get trained into that when we become devotees. We given all this Vaishnava achar, or how we call it, the etiquette. We're giving all this etiquette training, Vaishnava etiquette. And, we sort of take some and but we, in one sense, we adjust, or we take that etiquette and make it, adjustable or fit our culture, which is our Western culture. And that, in general, brings us some little difficulties here and there. So conscientiousness means that we learn, we make the effort to learn this culture, Vaishnava culture, which is a culture of associating. And the training is there. Srila Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction, how to do it. And then in Prabhupada's books, there is so much instruction on how to do it, how we relate to each other. And which is that relating to each other, then that's where we start to polish ourselves. You know, it's an education. It's almost we coming from an foolish, ignorant child becoming acquainted of how to function in society. So we're coming from a place of ignorance, spiritual ignorance, and become acquainted how to function in a society that is spiritual. So that process of education is what we are right now, what we're doing. And we have, the more serious we take that process of education, then the better and we advance and we become acquainted and we become settled and it becomes, you know, part of our nature. So I would say it will be that, you know, bringing it back to this message that we receive, you know, of what Vasasura represent for ourselves, which is, you know, take it for granted association, bad association, and that also implies that we're taking for granted good association, you know. So we try to pay attention to that part. Within the association of devotees, that will be, that's, you know, there's a lot of purification. That's where, you know, in our beginning stages, we find out that that's when we get, you know, all, you know, robbed the other, how you say, the other way? Huh? The wrong way. Because we're still in the materially conditioned space, we hold our ego very, very dear, very important. It means, you know, our identity. And if someone robs it wrong, you know, we react. So in association, when you're conscientiously working out, then you can find out, oh yes, I let my ego react in this way, and then, you know, you correct and you go like that, and you know, you become better and better. So I would say that's something that we can pay attention to. Just to conclude, the question of associating, avoiding, there's always these questions of, you know, how do we, you know, this sense of avoiding bad association. People that are non-devotees, avoiding non-devotees. So, and then we have so many non-devotees in our life that are important. You know, we grew up in a non-devotee, most of us, we grew up in a non-devotee culture, and many of us as non-devotees acquaintances, you know, family and friends, that they play an important part in our life during one stage of our life. How do we deal with them? You know, obviously, I hear from my spiritual master that you have to be normal. You can be, it's a sign of maturity. You have to be normal. You have to be respectful, and you have to, the quality of a Vaishnava is respect, appreciation, gratitude. So we're grateful about the well-wishing and the kindness and the generosity of people that play an important part in our life, and the love that they have for us, and we can reciprocate accordingly. And but we have to discriminate. So if they invite, oh, you know, remember what we used to do? We used to party together. What's happening to you? Let's go and party. Come on, man. A little break. Then you say, nah, you know, But if you say, well, okay, I go with you guys, but I won't drink, then you're, you're putting yourself in some dangerous situation. So we have to discriminate. But at the same time, we can actually share with genuine appreciation and respect and love for these people. We can share what's important for us right now. This is who I am right now, and this is important for me. And if you truly love me and in my well-wishing, you're going to appreciate something that makes me happy and that fulfills me, like what I'm doing right now. And then, so we be normal. Hey, I don't have anything to hide. I'm a Hare Krishna. And I'm really happy to be a Hare Krishna. Things like that. We give association. I stop here. Oh, yes. Just get the microphone so people hear you.
Another thing to do is we have to establish boundaries. It's the same thing you said. We have to have our boundaries and not allow it to be crossed, to be a devotee.
Right. Like,
Right, if you try to just be popular with everybody, like you said, you'll destroy yourself in the process.
Right. You put yourself in danger.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Kanantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.